Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So, thank you for the Mangalacharan. Now, I would
Thank you.
request Professor Rajmal Jain for the talk of today, and he will also tell about the particular topic of his discussion.
Yes. Thank you, Maharaj Sahab, for inviting me. Are you able to see my PowerPoint?
Yeah, it is visible. Just you have to enlarge it.
I'm going to do that. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj Sahab, Charan Bandami.
Thank you.
And I sincerely appreciate your efforts. Dear participants, my today's topic is of really very particularly of great importance because there are two important factors which generally people do not touch, but they are of great concern in context to the violence. And whatever kind of ruling power is there, they have always employed these two factors known as conservation and consumerism. So whether power in the past, if we know that the history says that earlier, right from the time of Rishabdev, the imperialism started. And we have seen this world has witnessed the power of imperialism, right? From Rishabdev to Ram, Krishna's time, and even the Chandragupta Maurya and Ashoka. And later on, it was disintegrated powers in several small imperial states. But later on, people found that this is not suitable and different kind of ruling systems came into the existence known as communism, socialism, capitalism, and even secularism. But the history says whatever the ruling power is there, the more or less, by and large, the bloodshed has been observed just because of this conservation and consumer system. Both are required for survival of human being. But why? The question actually arises, why then this consumerism, conservation actually cause such killing? And killing among what? We have heard in my previous so many lectures that human being has been involved in killing right from microbes to several different types of animals. Now, but my today's topic is really concentrated on killing of human to human. Panchendriya Jeev, that five sense living being, human, which is supposed to be most intelligent animal on this earth, has been killing to human beings only. And as a result, during this process of killing, they are not only just killing the human beings, but also killing indirectly the other animals of our biodiversity, other species which are very, very important for our biodiversity. Today, what I decide in my this presentation, I would like to give you many examples and the causes, that is the cause roots behind the mass killing or individual killing just for conservation and consumer systems. And it is a big, big violence. So, and as a result of such kind of killing, whether it was imperialism or it was capitalism, communism, democracy, that's what we call secularism, or socialism, every time you see during this killing process, the biodiversity always was degraded. As a result of this degradation of biodiversity, that is killing of various kind of species, the climate change has also been noticed. I have already given so many lectures about the killing of different species, and as a result, the climate change occurred and has been observed now very significant. Today in this talk, also, you will notice by this point that this consumerism, conservation, how it is important. And you can see that this biodiversity has been always in a serious critical condition. Just consumption, let us say. You can ask, it is good that people are eating food, people are taking air, people are getting water, but are we getting fresh water? And for everyone all over the globe, this is one important question. Are we getting fresh air of the quality which is necessary and for all the people over the globe? Or are we getting the most important entity, that is a food? Crops are enough and food is enough for all the people all over the globe? You will see that it is not enough, and people are always quarreling and even killing the people. And people first, whatever the resources are there, products are there, byproducts are there, they are trying to conserve. So conservation is an important factor. And so what we can conclude from this statement, that people actually want to keep rights in their hands. Every individual wants to have some kind of involvement in conservation. They think that it is there today only, perhaps it may not be on tomorrow. Mahatma Gandhi told once that this earth has enough for the need of everyone, but earth cannot have enough for the greed of the people, every greed of every individual. So the lots of studies have been done, and I will just summarize the results of many studies which have been done and what are the results on the consumption and how this consumption is creating the biodiversity losses. The whole lots of 45 countries actually have been studied, among them the developed countries as well as developing countries and underdeveloping countries also. So the one of the result is that the biodiversity loss per citizen, that is per capita, shows large actually variation among countries itself, because some countries are very rich, they have enough food actually and enough water resources, etc., while other countries they don't have enough resources. And so the problem starts there only immediately. So the question, with higher values, when per capita income increases, then the they try to enjoy the life. They have the pride, they have the ego over the others, and they, once they have increased their income sources, then the greed starts. This is what has been observed. The second result was that the share of biodiversity loss due to greenhouse gas emissions in this biodiversity footprint actually increase with the increasing income. This is a very important point, and it has been observed that people, when they have more actually income, more sources of income, then they try to capture more and more products and store at their home or in a sales stores, etc. Food consumption actually is the most important driver of the whole biodiversity loss. In most of the countries and regions, with a global average of 40%, issues are due to the food issues only. That is the food crops, food consumptions. So this is a big issue always. And what happens that more than 50% of the biodiversity loss is associated with the consumption of the developed economies occur. That is, those who are rich or they are the better economic conditions, and their boundaries, the territorial boundaries, are attached with the poor countries. Then lot of comparison will be there, lot of jealousy will be there, and the competition for the food, competition for the other luxurious things will start. The biodiversity footprints per dollar consumed is lower for rich countries relative to poor countries because they already have the other facilities, infrastructure, etc. But the insights provided by our analysis in this, that is all the researchers which have done a lot of work, they say that according to the responses to avert further losses of biodiversity, which over the that is over the population and income increase. So whenever the income is increasing, population is increasing, then always the riots or the unrest will start. That we will see also how much it is true. Both the mitigation of greenhouse gas emission and the land use. So the food crops and land use, because land use is a resource, food crop. Once it is already in the market, then it is a source. So this kind of things, the reduction options in production and consumption should be considered in strategies to protect the whole global biodiversity. Now, how to protect our global biodiversity? So the question actually arises what measures, what kind of agenda we should undertake. So in fact, that United Nations which we talk, they have the powers also, and they can manage, but the rich countries do not actually consider their powers and they don't allow to exercise them. The problem arises when the poor countries or that there is no enough food for them, then they start to create the problems, which is actually genuine, valid problem. The countries which have enough food, but they are not giving them to the poor countries. They are not allowing the fresh, good water quality, air quality, these and hundreds of problems are there. So all these things actually arise and they give several issues. I just give you one example, friends. This is some kind of a plot as a function of last about 50 years or so, 1978 to till now or so, 1970 to 2020, let us say. So this is about the how much expenditure capability of the people has gone up. Now, if you see as a function of time, the expenditure quality has gone up. That is the their how much dollars or rupees or currency can be spent per capita. It has gone up. It means now people have more money to spend. But unfortunately, when this thing enough money, that is their pocket money goes up for expenditure, that is to money to spend, the market price rise is also at the same time there. Price rise maybe because of two, because demand is too much. Lot of people are there. Our population density has gone up. At the same time, but on the other hand, if we see those countries which have better production, etc., they have a nature of greed. And I will discuss today what kind of greed I'm going to talk. And because of their greed, or they want to make more better money, etc., they increase the price. And the price over the globe is always managed through the price of the gold. And the gold price goes up means all the commodities, all other items, the price will go up. I would like to show up these four diagrams. You can see that the per day how much food per capita is necessary. That is in my first plot on the left side, and how much meat is per capita per year is consumed is on the top right side, while in the bottom side, the total freshwater use, how much is available, that is required, and total how much energy is in use. What you can see, the two jumps are there in the bottom plots. The freshwater use about 1990 or about 2000, there was a jump. And in the energy, there was a jump in 1980 or something like that. But the meat use, that is because large number of population of the world is non-vegetarian. We have already discussed many times on that, on this issue, and it is continuously keep on increasing. So consumption is keep on increasing, whether it is a food or it is a non-vegetarian food. But on the contrary, freshwater demand is larger and energy demand is larger, which are significantly still in scarcity, still not totally available. On the other hand, if you see, as a result of this greed, global exports of agriculture products, that is food. Now this is important plot. Please underline this plot and see that up to 2000, even the agriculture products were being used within the own country, etc. But as soon as the international market, when it was opened for use of all the products and in all over the globe, you see the agriculture products were being exported. Those agriculture products exportation started largely, and it increased, it enhanced not by 2 times, but almost more than 5 folds of 5 times. And this has created a big problem all over the world. And this happened by those rich countries, or by those countries, I should say, which are very good in agriculture products. And they want to earn more money by selling their own agriculture products to those countries where demand is there. And this actually came as a greed, or this kind of exportation of their export of their agriculture products enhanced the greed. And this greed always creates the ego, anger also among the people, and sex. So whatever Bhagwan Mahavir, Lord Mahavir told, the we have to keep or we have to maintain the five woes. All the bad habits come because of the greed. This is what has been observed. I would like to give few examples on this, that the what happened in the Congo, if you see that uh, uh, I will take as a Croatia, where national recovery plan actually was proposed, and that includes that whole plan as a some kind of a measure to disaster risk reduction. This was their major objective: disaster risk reduction, and which consists of the flood. Basically, the risk was always from the flood in Croatia, and this all various kinds of studies were done by them. And what was their aim? But what was written in the proposal to receive the financial assistance, then environmental people came, that experts came in between, read the whole proposal, and what they found, that whatever the measures which have been, that ideas which they have proposed in building the new embankments and this construction of the water structures, dams, etc., and they found that it is not suitable actually for the revitalization, but more actually flood protection. So basically the risk factor, it is less, and less for the revitalization, and flood protection only, which was actually a cause. So they what they told, that more of the budget for the measures should have been actually designed, designated for the revitalization as opposed to flood protection projects. So there was a whole project's aim was different. Its art and design for the measures, it was different. And the environmentalist, whatever the sponsoring agencies, they wrote something bad remark for that. So basically, environmentalists were not happy with the whatever it has been written, because the internal intention was different. So people are not clear and they are not transparent even with the sponsoring agencies. This is what I wish to say. People also, this United Nations found many times that people want to use the lot of financial assistance for mining or for other kinds of work. So in fact, all these kinds of activities, they are for the biodiversity loss. Mining is not good because it has many kinds of climate change effects, global issues, etc. I told you one example, that the landslide, many kinds of stone structures at cracks. Even in India, you might have heard, I had shown you also in the Uttarakhand recently, what kind of nature gave some kind of a, a what I should say disasters. They were given in Joshimath and other Rishikesh and etc. So this kind of biodiversity and climate change effects are there. You can see that even in the mountain where there was a dense forest, but for the greed of money or the different kinds of farming, the started, which is not good for the human being, but it was, and now the whole the deforestation started. Anyway, this kind of many ideas are there. So what I feel and what the investigators have explored, that as with the increase of your income, that is with the increase of your basket to buy more and more products for your consumption, that is when your consumption increases, the number of species also increases on the earth. That is When you have more income, it means you want to now eat with more luxury item, more non-vegetarian item. You have more number of luxurious living standards, etc. So you have actually basically more luxurious consumption. And so you will have more number of species on the earth. So it is always inversely proportional. That is, violence is always directly, you can say directly proportional to consumption. But at the same time, the people, as a result of greed, they want to have conservation. And conservation of not only food items, that is agriculture item. No, I wish to say here the conservation for the land use, conservation of the land, conservation of many other products. They want to have conservation of them. Conservation of resources from where, just like oil, petrol, and gold mines, etc. They want to have conservation of the forests under them. So the violence actually, because there are many more people who do not get their rights for the food, water, and other many other products, etc., then the violence begins. So violence has been observed. It is always directly proportional to consumption and conservation. And it is irrespective. It is irrespective to any ruling power system, whether you have imperialism, that is the some kind of a king and ruling. It is socialism, that is communism, capitalism, or even the secularism. This is the rule, a fundamental rule that violence will begin maybe somewhere within the states, within the country, maybe in small fraction to large fraction, or over the worldwide. This earth has seen many such kind of a big violence just for consumption and conservation of items, etc. In the France, dear friends, I would like to remind all of you that in 18th century, in the France, imperialism was there. And because of the bad management of the food system, that is consumption, what happened, there was a big civil revolution was there, civil war was there, and finally there was end of imperialism. Democracy, secularism was actually explode, and still it is going on. This is some kind of for different countries. What is the footprint of the consumption in terms of destroying that biodiversity? You can see for Africa, China, even Europe and North America. You can see it is total footprint causing the biodiversity loss. It is very high. I mean, all additions per capita is there, then the share domestic GDP, etc., and even the greenhouse gases, etc. You can see, but North America, Africa, China, Europe particularly, and then rest of the Asia, Russia even, and South America. All these countries, they have all the countries, particularly I can say even the big countries, which are rich countries, even they are also have or they have involved in causing the biodiversity loss, biodiversity degradation. I would like to give one example of Czech forests. And in Czech forests, they had actually this bark beetle kind of a, I mean, some kind of a critical spruce of the monolithic culture of living. And that was not good, but it came in the forests, and in the forest, lot of nonsense was there, and forests came into the critical condition. So in order to improve and to ensure the resilience of the whole forests, the proposal was there but that proposal was also turned down. Similarly, uh, you can see that the many civil, I mean, societies, the groups, they fear with the new pulp and paper industry in some of the country. I think it's yes, Eurasia, and this energy system is in trouble. Now, what I would like to say, they also prepared a proposal, but the proposal was turned down because they found that the private industries, they will earn more money for the same actually consumption if they start to do this kind of a, so efficacy of the whole resource may be improved. That was per unit, it was there, but it was not so. So in nutshell, what we can say that directly, indirectly, people prepare through the government, semi-government, or in the private sector, prepare proposal in such a way the hidden idea is not projected, but somehow the still they are able to and they are succeeded in their program. But sometimes there are many other problems also. So there are many problems. I will not, because of the time today, I will not go into all those problems. But uh, there is one biodiversity. Actually, basically, if you see that what is biodiversity, you can ask me again this question. So what I will say, it is sum of all the total life on the earth. Starting the life, when I say means starting from the tiniest, that is not even microbes, nanos, much smaller, which we cannot see. So it is a summation from there to almost human beings or the tallest big life like a hell fish or something like that. So it is summation and what biodiversity, because it is a whole web, it is a carbon cycle, and everybody, every species plays a significant role to maintain this our biodiversity or the climate. Now, by doing some kind of a injustice, what we can observe, this relation, that is patterns across numerous these regions in the world, and some of the most significant include 70% of the rainfall we see is in southern South America, that is Amazon kind of rainforests, etc., from weather patterns created by the Amazon rainfall. That's the one which I already discussed when I was discussing, I was giving a talk on the plant ecology. वनस्पति काय जीव पे जब lecture दिया था, तो I have already discussed, but just briefly I want to make a point because of the greed and because of this violence through the consumption and conservation, there are lots of other problems. On the other hand, the boreal forests in Russia, Canada, etc., and are Earth's actually largest above ground, above the ground, that is surface, and the carbon sequestration system storing enough carbon dioxide, that carbon catastrophically, that is through the volcanoes and earthquake, it comes out and then it gives different kind of products and saves the Earth's climate. That is whatever the carbon dioxide is released by that deformation. Then there is another thing, that is what we call as a patlands, that is below the surface, are the actually best terrestrial below ground and the carbon storage system. They are the best carbon storage system, and they currently cover 30% of the Earth's surface. Now, this is the whole our biodiversity is maintained in different ways and by different plant ecology, our terrestrial life systems, our air, atmospheric vayu kaya jeev, akash kaya jeev, agni kaya jeev, all those. So the whole thing is a make as a integrated system of biodiversity. And as soon as there is some kind of by cruelty or by some kind of a violence, the system deviates from its carbon cycle or deviates from its routine laws of nature, then the biodiversity loss comes into picture. What happens? See, scientists have also agreed. This is one very important thing. And what they say that this is a natural, some kind of a gardeners to each other. That is a smallest life to a macro life, and they all are taking care of each other. And because of this, there is an interrelationship between life, whether it is a plant life and the animal, that make the maintain its essential the balance in natural ecosystem, which we call in our Jainism. हमारे आगम में जो कहा गया है, भगवान महावीर ने जो कहा है, that is the same thing. And what Bhagwan Mahavir told, this same thing, parasparo upagraho jivana, that is, we all are dependent on each other and we should help to each other for survival of each other. That is, we should help to each other for survival of each other. This is what, and the climate, every time we harm Earth's biodiversity, we also destroy a living component. Please underline this. Earth's biodiversity we destroy, and that is a living component that helps to regulate the all the our weather system, climate system, atmosphere system, our carbon system, etc. So what I can say here, what you can conclude over here, that the imminent threat of this violence, whatever we are doing, imminent threat of climate change is not just a threat to biodiversity, but also a direct consequence of mass extinction. I already told last time in my one lecture about various kinds of mass extinction. 5 mass extinctions have already taken place on this earth. So this fundamental rule has to be respected, that is parasparo graho jivana, and that is scientists also believe that yes, there is an interrelationship between the different kinds of lives, and the whole biodiversity is a living component of the climate. Okay, now this I coming to the one very good example that how the grid is working, and through the other kind of safeguards. See, there is a country, small country known as Republic of Congo. Please underline and remember, okay? Now, what happened in this Republic of Congo, there was a project through the Worldwide Foundation, WWF, that is worldwide funding is there. And this, it was told that they are actually doing for the wildlife protection. And so they want to protect the forests in order to save the wildlife. Okay. And as a result, what happened? They appointed as a eco guards, and they removed forcefully those people who were living inside those forests, and those poor people, they were living inside. Their food system were that forests, their medicine were from those plants only. So finally what happened, a report was leaked, that report of the investigation by the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, and it was published in the Guardian, and it became viral to all over the world. And what happened, that the conservation giant, what I should say, the conservation giants, those WWF people, they were exposed. What they were have been trying to create a protected zone around a small village or land the Mosaic Dija, a, or you can say huge forest area, rich in wildlife and biodiversity, where the Baka people, that is some kind of a tribal people, Baka people, Baka tribes, have lived for generations. UNDP found that the Baka were not even consulted by this WWF people about this project, and now they suffered extremely from the violence at the hands of eco guards. Eco guards people, they don't allow and they beat, they create violence, and even they ask, they beat the children also. And once they wrote the letter to UNDP and it became out, and what they told, that they are not allowing us to go inside our forests, and if we make the camps, they burn our camps. And many Beka, those tribal people, died just today. They are not there. They have been killed by this. Children are getting thinner. This is what UNDP report also says that. And they say that we are already finished because our medicinal plants, they have also been destroyed by those eco guards. Now, they are always, I mean, saying their grievances to WWF people, but they don't even listen and they don't accept them. They just kill them. And on the top of that, they don't respect the woman. See, this is most important, where the actually UNDP took underline and they criticized this WWF, that they are asking women to remain nude, just like the children, and they are using those women for the sex, etc., those eco guards. Now, where those tribes, and this is not a story of Congo only, such kind of in Africa and many other South America, small countries are in big trouble. People are in big trouble. Lot of violence is going on, going on. So what we can conclude from all these kinds of incidences, that the tragic irony is that the mass tourism, actually they told, you see, I told you that the project started as a wildlife sanctuary, that is protection of wildlife. But now, in the sake of or in the name of that wildlife, the lot of tourism, mass tourism is there, trophy huntings are there, sustainable logging, water logging, mining is going on. So some, I mean, wrong intention projects are going on, and the protection of is, I mean, taken care of this, I mean, wrong intention, eh, I should say, projects in the sake of the forest, that is wildlife protection. So it is all wrong things are going on, and who is doing? Who is doing all these kinds of wrong projects? That is logging, mining, and other resource extraction are often actually welcomed in areas where the originally, I mean, inhabitants have been evicted and forbidden now from using their own land themselves. This is some kind of a conclusion, but I mean, I have always a question, just who is doing? So means, it means the rich people, it means from the rich developed countries, more industrialists who are doing in the shed behind the screen of the WWF, or maybe other some shelters from where they are getting. But this kind of violences with the poor people is going on. It is not only that 10 people or 100 people are being killed. Every day, thousands of people are being killed. Such a violent things are going on. So what I will say, I will just give one example of United Kingdom, where this ocean waves, actually they were bringing the heat. Ocean waves, they were bringing the heat, and that was some kind of a welcome weather thing. And without these heat waves, which are now weakening, that is what UK has reported. And without these heat waves, the UK would have a climate like Siberia. In Siberia, you know that the desert, etc. So dry desert will be there. So most of this is a political news. Whichever it is coming is a gossip joke. But basically the truth behind is that we can ask question, who is inside this game? Who is out? Who said what? All these questions, and these are questions are never addressed, never answered properly. It avoids actually what has beneath, that is what is the truth. Where is the dark money is there, or the black money which is coming up? The what, where is the corruption is in progress? Who is doing those corruptions? Nobody is addressing these questions, but the violence is continuously going on. Rich people or the rich countries can persuade themselves. They have gone green because they recycle very easily because they have money, while forgetting actually they have another responsibility, which is their second home is also there. The main cause of environmental actually impact of their money is on this second home. You persuade actually yourself you are a green mega consumer. Please underline my this sentence. You persuade yourself that you are a green mega consumer, but forgetting yourself just that a you are a mega consumer, that is not a green mega consumer, but a simple mega consumer. You are claiming that you are a green mega consumer, but no, we should tell them very clearly with underlined red words that you are also a part, just like others, 90% people, a mega consumer. There is a poverty line. This the authors have written very nice sentences. I'm impressed by that. They have told that there is a poverty line below which no one should fall. This is what a strong recommendation, and every country has a dream. Even this is a dream of USA also. This is a dream of Europe. Even this is a dream of India, that no one should be there below the poverty line. And but authors recommend there should be a wealth line, that the rich line, prosperity line, above which no one should rise also. So what we can conclude from them, that we need is a wealth, we need wealth taxes and not the carbon taxes. That is actually basically the meaning of that. That is the line between this poverty line, below poverty line, and the wealth line. Actually, it means nothing but the aparigraha. That is the, we should actually have a line of parigraha. This is what the Bhagwan Mahavir has been always recommending, that there should be only some kind of a limit on your prosperity. There should be a limit on your consumption, a limit on your holds, limit on your money, limits on your resources, etc. And above that, you should give to others. So there should be a line of parigraha, and everybody should respect a parigraha also. So that, and but this is not being followed up. This is not being actually the practiced also in the world. So that's why the many problems are coming up, because we are not following the principle of this aparigraha. So the greed has come by and large in everyone in the world, whoever may be. And this greed means, does not mean that only money. No, not only money, but it has many other aspects also. Even I am greedy for the knowledge. So knowledge also. There is a proverb in English. There is a proverb in English that it is always good, it is healthy to be ambitious in this world, but it is unhealthy symptom to be over ambitious as well as under ambitious. So if you are under ambitious, then you will always remain poor and poor and poor. If you are over ambitious, means you become so much greedy and try to catch every system, every resources of the world, or you want to rule everything, then definitely it means it is going to be unhealthy for yourself. So there is a term about the greed that is known as dispositional greed. Actually, it relates to individual differences in acquisitiveness. मैं कितना अपने आप को जोड़ सकता हूँ. It may be different from the rich person or another person or from a saint or from my wife or my son. So it is an individual. So dispositional greed is actually related to individual differences. But one should rely that everybody has a greed and everybody is greedy for one or the other requirements. If you compare with a child of 5, 10 years, he will be greedy for the chocolates and not for other things. He needs much more. He's playing dolls, etc., and toys, etc. But the other people, they need much more money. They need much more resources. They need the power also. Power. They need the so much selfishness, that is, they need. They will struggle for the status. They will struggle for influence. They will create the sex issues. So there are maybe many factors for the greediness. And the question, are people really only greedy for limited or scarce for things? We think not at all. People want more and more. As much they get, they still want more. So the demand for more and more abundance is always desired things, and particularly food and money. People are killing to each other, and it is likely to elicit greed in people, but particularly at least for two important things, the food and money, because it is the food and money which is by and large causing lot of violence, etc. I would like to give you some account of this. What is that good greed? What is the bad greed? And what is the ugly greed? See, greed is about getting more of what you want. You may choose, and some people choose the gold, some people choose money only, some people choose the buildings, etc. Some people choose the more sex, okay, more power and influence, etc., which I discussed just now. But there is a one point, and the point says that what can be bad about that greed? What is wrong? If somebody is greedy or it has a greed nature, what is wrong? This is a big question, because some people feel that some countries like capitalism, so they feel that greed is an important actually motivation behind economic growth and prosperity, making it good for society as a whole. It is indeed actually some parts, or some people praise greed indirectly, directly, for the benefits and consequences. The capitalism, as I gave example, has been called a system of greed. Capitalism, which is dominating system, ruling system in US, and its a footprints or the roots is based on the greed. Yet it is, but what is the result? Yet it is the system that raised the standard of living on one side, but not for the poor people. Still, poor are poor over there, and as the standard is varying, the poor still remains poor. They had a dream actually. They had a dream to bring up the poor, and they had a dream that nobody should be poor at all, etc. So the dreams actually have gone bad uh, because of the capitalism system. So they wanted to, or every country wants to begin to bring equality among the people. But whether anybody could do for the tribals and their conceive of the, I mean, say some group of people living in the forest, what we call as a tribal people. The other side of the people who live in the city with the industries. Now there is a big disparity between the two. There is are people in between also, and in between people have also another kind of disparity. Now the violence starts because of the powers, the food, money, and at least of the basic requirements, etc. But I would like to give you one big example of this such a greed, how it was bad. So the good part is for the capitalism, but there are bad parts of the greed. I would like to give you example of 2008 global financial crisis. It was a big financial crisis in 2008. I think many of you are aware about this thing, and you know that how it happened. Just for your knowledge, I would like to give that it was attributed to the greediness of traders, bank managers, and Wall Street, many other. I mean, all over the world, there was some kind of a big problems. Even the buildings, houses were sold at the throwaway prices, etc., and all that. So, a lot of financial crunch was there. And in addition to all this, not influencing in many countries, but in addition, what happened? Major religious, those people express disapproval of the greed. See the difference. The capitalist people, they approve the greed. The religious people disapprove the greed. For example, the in accordance to the Saint Paul, what he told that the root of all evil, that is all problems, is greed. This is what he told. And similar kind of speeches will be given even in India as well as in Africa and by other religious leaders. But they themselves do not follow this fundamental principle. They do themselves. Even in our Jain culture, also, I would like to say there are many monks, they will criticize the money exchange, greed, anger, ego, etc., everything. But all those bad evils are among them also. Increasingly, not only do the opposing these evaluations of greed as good and bad, it is some kind of a both good and bad both exist together. It is some kind of a pendulum hanging, you see, from left side to right side, left side to right side, something like that. And people actually have a view of the different kinds of relative to the greed, and they are hanging, but people actually are hanging around between the 2 points of the good greed versus bad greed, and even the ugly greed also. You will see that an analysis was done considering the many countries. Okay, and there was a dispositional greed score was given by asking several questions by asking several questions, and then it was measured that how much dispositional this grid score will be better. It will not be too much worse. It will not be on the positive side also too much high. And what the as per the mathematical, I will not go into such big mathematics, but what we call as a Maxwellian distribution, it was done on this dispositional grid score. That is, number of scores was given, and how many number of, this, what I should say, that the, uh, yes, the how many observations were conducted, and the finally it was taken over the considering the all the standard deviation, etc., the different age people, starting from the young people, say 1 and 2, that is how many numbers I have given in the this side, and then other people of different age, 18 to 89 years old, all people were considered. standard deviation of the age was 12.12. Total mean of the age was 34.14 and standard deviation was 12.12 of the age. That is error. Standard deviation, basically, you can consider from me, it is some kind of an error, okay? And mean was 34, so means much younger people who has very good thinking, etc. So what they found that about 2.6 or something like that is much better. And this is what I found. I don't know how Lord Mahavir must have thought during his finance meditation that there should be a line of parigraha, that is the of parigraha यहाँ से start होना चाहिए और यहाँ पे इसका end होना चाहिए, and see that this has come 2.6, neither this side nor this side. And so this model represents mathematical model based on the data from the observations, etc., that this is some kind of a recommendation of a parigraha. And if this model is accepted by the people, by all the countries, then there is no need of violences. This is what the people, I mean, the authors also recommend. But what is happening? What is happening in the practical life? You see that when there is a lot of greed, then what will happen? That the lot of conflicts will be there. But that is some kind of a violence will be there. And the conflicts will be of different nature. They may be of minor, that is maybe hardly 5-10 people will be killed up. Intermediate kind of conflicts will be there, and major, in which the more than 1,000 deaths per year have been observed. And if you see in the last few tens of years, starting from 1948 to 2000, almost 52 years, you see, and still, I mean, the data is in the process by because this paper was published a few years back. But this shows that whenever the greed is increasing, more number of conflicts will be there, more number of deaths will be there, more number of violence will be. As a function of time, you can see in this plot, larger number of minor in conflicts are keep on increasing. Intermediate kind of conflicts are keep on increasing. Even a few that major kind of conflicts are also still increasing. And in this 21st century, these numbers have gone significantly high, and that we have observed also. I can show you this one of the how human beings, हम पंचेंद्रिय जीव, most intelligent, most talented people, most talented animal on this earth, and we are killing thousands and actually I should say hundreds of thousands of people were killed in Rwanda. At least 200 to 300,000 women were raped, and then they were killed also in the gang war between the two communities, and the communities which were poor, they were not having even enough food, but the religious emotions, their anger, and so whole this massacre actually took place. So why it was there? And this is not the case. It is every time if you see that irrespective to whether you have power system, whether you have a communism, you have a democracy, secularism, you have a socialism, or even capitalism, or even in the past, imperialism. Every time the people were killed only due to this conservation and consumer system. These two systems have killed so far thousands of people, and this earth has witnessed also. And why these conflicts take place? Because poverty is the one, underdevelopment, and ill health in poor countries. These are within the state. These are the reasons. On the other hand, in the rich country, the greed is important, and the industrialists or the big shots, big people, they want to become more and more richer, and they create the problems inside the country, even inside the whole uh, international profile. So extreme poverty, they make use of that. That is the export of the agriculture products, export of another things. Then many governments are incapable to do the to provide the services, what we call as poor government services. So that is another. Unemployment is a problem. Environmental degradation is problem, and individual, that is economic, the incentives just to fight, etc. They are also given, and lot of them. So how to do that? How to control? In order to reduce the chances of wars, conflicts, it is essential to promote the inclusive development. Take everybody with in the development program and reduce inequalities, because inequality is, and the ego is the major issue today everywhere in the world. And this inequality and the ego is basically coming because of the greed of few countries or the few people, etc. And they create the problem. Now, inequalities between the groups. So tackle the unemployment problem, etc. This is difficult. I know that it is not easy, but until unless the government does or considers these important points, the violence will be keep on going. What I state of there is a one term, greed versus grievances, and there is a theory of this whole thing. This theory actually it was very good, but it also failed in the current systems. And in current system means all the current system. And people in many countries, wherever there is a problem in the forests or with the poor people, the equation of this that greed versus grievances, when it fails in the financial systems, economic system, I mean, socio-economic systems, etc. And then international financial institutions come in between, and their role become important. They come and they try to solve. Even the United Nations sanctions also impose over there. But basically, the problem is the political system. There is no political will, and there is no political pressure within the country, outside the country, and even the UN also becomes helpless in such systems. You see, I give one example. Nobody could do even for the USA. This slide is very important. There was a dream of USA to reduce the inequality or to bring the people to the equality level, or I should say at least to the level of the line of Parigraha. But you can see that inequality, disparity is keep on going on, and it is deepening in the as a as a function of time, as well as as a function of the lifestyle living, etc. This is the problem of the, I mean, of different countries. Can you see that US GDP, but the total US credit is appears to be very high, because but it is in the private hands. Capitalism is there, while on the other hand the red color small China is bad. On the very recently they have grown up their system, but it is in the hands of the government. Similarly UK, other countries, etc. And what every country, every system, everywhere system is different. That is power system. Communism is there, secularism in India, or in Russia, the communism previously it was there still, and in USA capitalism is there. In Europe, many countries have secularism, etc. But the different systems are facing different problems. I just give you one example that irrespective to whether imperialism, communism, or socialism, capitalism, or secularism, mass killing is everywhere. Mass killing, whether in the name of the food problem, in the name of the richness that is greedy, or in the name of power, influence, sexual things. But here you know that in the red, which I have shown, that is the China and all communist countries, the mass killing was there. Mass killing, not thousands, friends, not thousands, not lakhs of people, millions, millions means crores of people were killed just in this. And if I give you the numbers and what are their areas, why they were all these deaths were there. Okay, I can agree that there was a famine, drought was there, but including the what executions, see, in whole 20th century, in 100 years, the many killing were there through the forced labor, see, deportations, starvation, unemployment, imprisonment, and some of these events have been actually classified as a genocide. पूरा गर्दन सिर काट देते थे, see, of the and crimes against the humanity. This is पंचेंद्रिय जीव कत्ल कर रहा है, मार रहा है पंचेंद्रिय जीव. Human is killing human being. Till now in my all lectures, I was giving that how human being is killing the other species of Vayukai, atmosphere, space, hydrosphere, Jalkai, Prathvikai, etc., and how we are changing our climate, how we are changing our biodiversity, how much actually we are feeling, we must feel guilty, but here it is shameful for all of us that human is killing human and not in hundreds of thousands, but rather in millions of people. So all this have been criticized by many authors. I would like just tell you a few authors how many numbers they have mentioned that the former national, this is a, I don't know whether I will be appropriately name his name, Zbigniew Brzezinski, former national security advisor of Jimmy Carter, and he wrote that the failed effort failed effort to build communism in the 20th century consumed the lives, that is the death of the people, almost 60 million people. This was in 1993, it was written. In 1994, Rummel's book, The Death by Government, this book is very famous and included about 100, they told, he says, 140 million people were killed, foreign and domestic, killed by the communist uh, domicide, and from 1900 to 1987 means in 87 years time frame by communist people, that the rat cap 140 million people were killed, and this total excludes deaths from the great Chinese famine in 1958 to 1961, 3 4 years time, so in which the many people were actually died in the China. So, and where the China was also ruling this communist people. Then the socialism started. Then the improved socialism started in China. Many improvements are there, but basically the root is the same and same, that is communism. I can just tell that the religious leaders and the political people, they also take advantage of religious emotions, the proactive religious feelings, etc. The example in the world is India. India is some kind of hanging around like a pendulum between the religious murder and the secularism. And it is not only at that time, we have seen that the religious wars, right from the Chandragupta Maurya and Ashoka, and even much before, during the Ravan time and the Mahabharata time also. And billions, not only million, but billion people were killed during the Mahabharata time. And even when the India was separated, at that time, based on this religious act, millions of people were killed. So what I wish to say, that if you will take some kind of a stock of the history of this world, how many humans are killed directly, look, visibility, then you will find the thousands, the chart you will get. I have written few names just to show you of their age, with their age, young people were killed you see, by human, not as a soldiers. They were not soldiers. They were taking care of their country, or they were doing good work, which was not seen in favor of the greedy people, etc. So it is not only the human beings which are being killed. It is not only the human beings which are becoming refugees as a result of the wars, as a result of conflicts. Only not human beings are thrown out of the border, but many birds, when because of the greediness, greedy people, when they create the fire in the jungle forests, and such a wildfire is there, all the millions and millions of birds, they become refugees. They try to search a new home, where to go. Now I'm giving you just a thought. Dear friends, I'm giving a thought. You see this, when the people, we human beings are not living the small species, we are not taking care of small species. The question of taking care of anybody else, even our home also, we don't care, we don't take care when the question of money or food or the greediness come at that time. So the question of such small biomass, small insects, small microbes, protection of such birds, or even in the ocean, does not exist for the human being. We are really greedy, we are really killer, we are want to create the violence. So I just would like to give you one example how this anger, ego, jealousy, and inequality causing the school children is some kind of a shooting, etc. In this school shooting, when I say school shooting means, it is almost all over the world, but it is extremely large in USA. Actually, it is an event in which a student at an educational institution like a elementary school, middle school, or high school, or even a college, university, he kills at least one student or a faculty member on the grounds, on the land and of that institution. Such incidents usually involved multiple deaths, not only one. Whenever the children are killing with the revolver or any other weapon, they are killing at least 4 5. When I was a student, I have also seen such kind of a murder. I heard that in such a state school, in the school camp, some student has killed. So also heard when I was student in US. So such kind of rampage, school, you see, shootings are a type of school shooting where no single or specific individual is targeted. Actually, there is, no, I mean, nobody has still proven that this shootings are targeted by I'm able to hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
I mean, since what time you were not able to hear me? 5 minutes? Or you are able to hear continuously?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm about to finish now. So this school shooting, you can see this violence starts from the childhood itself. And then they start to feel that there is an inequality. Then they become anger. Then they have an ego also. And they want to kill, uh, not only in the children, but in when they get elder and elder, they become much more jealous. So this is the some kind of a, if you see now the plot, I would like to show you this very important graph plot of the school shooting and how it is in the USA itself. Year by year, it is keep on increasing. See, and it has gone now almost to the one order of magnitude higher increasing. So people should address why such insecurity is there among the people, why this conservation and our this consumption have become such a kind of a problem. Conservation and consumption, not only food, as I told, or the land use, or the many, but there are many other agendas. Many sectors are there. So even the forests also, power also, money, etc. So, what I would like to conclude, dear friends, today with some kind of a what I feel, because I have studied all these power systems, that is, which I described imperialism, communism, socialism, capitalism, and even our secularism, etc. But no system can be successful unless the principle of humanity, that is what I told today, parasparo groho jivanam, that is, we have to help, we have to help each other, not only human to human, but to maintain the biodiversity to each and every life, and that has to be practiced. And because this simple principle has been forgotten by the world, and that's why all the problems are arising. So much violence is existing currently in the world. In order, second point I would like to say, in order to practice this rule number one, that is rule number one means parasparo upagraho jivanam, the non-violence, that ahimsa on which this whole course is going on, to be strictly followed up primarily. So in order to obey and practice rule number one, rule number two of ahimsa also to be practiced. When you do practice or follow up the ahimsa, truth and forgiveness, satya, kshma, which are the integral component of this non-violence, they have to be respected and they have to be followed up. And I would like to, whatever I told today, you see, I would like to add the philosophy ahimsa is not possible without the aparigraha. Today, my whole talk was ahimsa is actually associated with the aparigraha. So, whole wars, conflicts, all issues, all challenges currently and in past and in present time on the earth are related to by and large with the ego and parigraha, that is with the greed, anger, etc. So one has to look whole ahimsa in conjunction, in association with a parigraha and non-absolutism, that is anekantva. So I strongly believe, my conclusion will be, I strongly believe that ethics of Jainism can resolve all global conflicts, issues, and challenges. With this, I say thank you very much to all of you for keeping patience and hear me today such a long talk. Uh, and but it was very important, and this was the some kind of another aspect of violence related to our uh, hinsa related with the greed, lobh, lalach. Thank you very much, and I would like to now request to you to go for questions now. So let me go. And can you hear me? Can you see and can you hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes, you can ask questions. We still have 15-20 minutes. I can take questions. Is there any question? You can directly ask question today. Maharaj Sahib is there who can coordinate questions. Yes, you please ask question. There was a hand raise. Please unmute your mic and ask question. Please unmute yourself, all people. Are you able to unmute or not? Anybody has any question?
So is there some questions from the
Yes.
participant side?
Yes, Maharaj Sahib, please ask. Yes.
Yes, okay. So anybody has any question? Okay, so it is unmute, Suril. I did not actually muted.
Maharaj Sahib,
I'm checking.
can I ask whether everybody could listen my talk fully today, or there was some disturbance in between?
No, there was no disturbance at all. The
Okay.
talk was very clear and it is recorded. So it will be shared with all the participants. And if they have any questions, they can ask in next class whenever they will be present in the class. Today, because of some confusion or might be people could not remember that the class time is changed and we have to be today. So that's why we could find only 8 participants, but there must be all the other participants in our next classes.
Okay. So you would like to announce also that for the next 2 classes,
yes,
the link will be different. Can you?
Yes. Yes. We will announce it and we will send circulation 2-3 times so that everybody would be aware of the next lecture. Would you like to give the lecture on the same time on Monday? Or you are thinking on Saturday, 1 hour before?
On Saturday,
1 hour before.
and at the same time, 8 p.m. of India. Is it okay?
No, it would be either 7 p.m. If we have 1 hour enough for the talk and discussion, then we can start at 7 p.m.
Okay, 7 p.m. is also okay for me. So you
Okay,
please
because
send the circulation.
from 8 p.m. another class would start.
Okay, so can we start at 6:30?
Yeah, it is possible. Chandani, would you like to be 6:30?
Oh, it's on a Saturday, is it?
Yes, Saturday, 6:30
on Saturday,
PM
because we have 2 lectures more from Professor Rajmal Jain. And
Okay,
since we have started today a new course, and that course is on at 10:30. So we have to keep the lecture of Professor Rajmal Jain 1.5 hours before.
Yeah, I don't mind. It's only like next 2 lectures. If everybody agrees,
So
I'm okay.
only 2 lectures we have from Professor Rajmal Jain. That's why I'm thinking that we should not disturb the new course time, and also we should accommodate this talk on Sunday.
For me, it's okay.
No, Saturday.
Oh, sorry, Saturday. Yes, Saturday.
Saturday, 6:30 PM of India.
Yes,
correct?
6:30 PM of India.
And the new link will be there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we will send the new link, and also we will send reminder, 2-3 reminders before the talk.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Jai
Any
Jinendra.
question from Bhatia ji and any other? Okay.
Bhatia ji, yes, please.
Yeah,
Your
Bhatia
question.
ji could join very late because of the link problem. So might be he will ask the question in next time.
Okay.
After listening to the video lecture.
Okay. No issue.
So thank you very much, Professor Rajmal Jain.
Maharashtra
Sorry,
Charan
I could
Vandana.
not get today all the participants, but all participants are enjoying your lecture. They are appreciating a lot, and we are lucky that you are giving so informative and very scientific lectures. So they will pave the path for future generations that how they can be more non-violent in their day-to-day life.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So now we are leaving.